okay, exciting ideas. Let's look at the next box. So what I wrote here is balancing the 5 energy centers. So we know a lot about our anatomy. We know we have lungs and kidneys and heart and liver and all those good things, internal organs. But we are not always aware that the energy system has its anatomy and that we have 5 different centers. And the problem, the opportunity and the problem with the energy centers is that there is an energy flow in our system all the time. But what occurs is when we live an imbalanced life, one way to easily access or consider imbalanced life, people that need to sit in front of their computers for 10 hours and very much be up here, that would create some energetic imbalance, right? So, and one of the phenomenon in terms of the energy centers is they get to steal energy from each other. So the emotional energy center tend to steal energy from the other centers. The design of a life and the building of a cadence, like, so okay, I know that I will be for a couple of hours now on a Zoom call with you, but what did I do this morning? I went for a run outside. So I'm out in nature and I look at the beauty of the season and the beauty of the trees and the flowers all around. We live in an amazingly beautiful place. So that balances me energetically and my senses. And we could obviously stay with this at length. What we are simply introducing here is the idea that, as you just said a minute ago, we are not just one role or one function or one thing. We are also not just one energy. We are different energies. They have different rhythm, different cadence, different frequency, and living a balanced life is allowing those to be replenished and recharged as we lead our lives.
So, I mean, maybe an example for that. Again, it's like, it's the stuff that we know, but we won't always act upon. So when we're very stressed, so it's just that I have a lot of pressure from different angles of my life. So, and one way to deal with it, because we have time limitations, is to just be there and do the work. You know, you just sit in front of you wake up in the morning, you sit and you try to do the things that you need to do. And at some point this week, it wasn't working so well, you know, it wasn't effective anymore. So I made a break and I played the cello, which is one of my way to balance my energies. And it's not that I can't say it's magic. It's not that after playing I was suddenly 5 times more effective and suddenly everything went into place. But it was a small step in this direction of reminding myself that even if I'm gonna stay in front of the computer all these hours in order to try and do the work, if I'm not feeding these other parts in me that need my attention as well. So if I'm not going outside, if I'm not, you know, eating well, playing the cello, meeting friends, it's not that I'm actually more effective. It can be that in the longer run or in the middle run, I'm actually less effective because I'm depleting the one source that I'm working on. I mean, as a concept, I think it's this one of these things that we know that we have the ability, we have the technology to do that. But then sometimes in the course of your life, especially when there are pressure periods, then it's the first thing that you forget.
Well, the beauty of the concrete example you are offering is that indeed, if you're thinking about a difficult problem and you're using the thinking energy center, and you are using your analytical energy, and you go for hours, you are likely to exhaust that resource at some point. And you allow yourself to to be nourished either by walking outside or by playing the cello or by having a conversation with somebody you love. These are different activities that nourish different energies in you, and guess what? Sometimes the analytical problem that you were grappling with, the solution actually may appear when you're in another activity, or as you're describing, when you come back to the issue, even if you're not 100 times more effective, although sometimes you will be, because sometimes that transition allowed you to completely see the problem from a different place. That balancing and remembering that you are not one thing, that you are a full orchestra, is powerful.
I just think that some of the notions that we're speaking about in this conversation, at least for me, as the way I am constructed, these are the type of advices that it will be much easier for me to give to others. But then when it comes to my own life, I will be the first to forget.
We are all better in giving advice to somebody else than to ourselves. Most of the very successful coaches or teachers or people that transfer knowledge to other people, the reason they do what they do, and I probably include myself in that, is because it's a way to pay attention to what it is you need to attend to. So I'm speaking with you about the study of balance, and hopefully I can pay attention and walk the talk and practice what I preach. And because you're absolutely right, we are always in our own blind spots.
Like for me, at least, I mean, I may know it, I may see, and I may recognize that now is the moment to stop and now is the moment to go, but still I will have my own inhibitions that will prevent me from doing, because I will have some voice that will say to me, no, but you have to finish and write this thing, or so there will be other pressures coming into this game. Even if you are aware and there and see it, then acting, it's like a next step, which is an interesting transition to see what helps.
So let's talk about these three together. 3 levels of resilience: self-esteem, confidence, and self-worth, displacement and centering practices. I think where you started us actually earlier was in a scenario that you painted in which displacement, that sometimes is instigated by pressure or expectation from other people or expectation we put upon ourselves. All those, they distance us from ourselves, and all of a sudden we find ourselves on the outside. And when we do, by definition, we become weaker in our confidence, in our sense of self-esteem and self-worth, because self-esteem and self-worth and confidence, they're nourished by the sense of who you are and by the natural flow of intelligence and wisdom that joins you when you are at the point of being tethered to yourself. I researched deeply the domains of resilience back in 2008 after the financial crisis, because I recognized this was going to be a big problem. And one of the first realization with this team of psychologists and experts that we realized was that, especially in the Western world, we were very much a product of an industrial mechanistic mindset. And that's why in the dictionary you'll find that resilience is defined as bounce back. And bounce back really means that I think of myself as though I'm a refrigerator or a car, where if a part was broken, I can replace that part and we fix the problem. So fixing the problem is a mechanistic approach to resilience. But what we realized that it would be an incorrect, in most circumstances, some circumstances perhaps it's relevant, but in most circumstances, when you talk about human in the singular sense of one human being, and certainly complex human systems such as organizations, you can't really talk about bouncing back, you need to talk about bouncing forward. And the distinction is bouncing forward means we are to find the recovery and the renewal inside a new equilibrium. And the third level is the definition that was offered by Nassim Taleb when he wrote Anti-Fragility, which is, well, actually you'll go beyond bouncing forward. You'll use the setback or the challenge to thrive. You actually grow, evolve, thrive through times of challenge.